Good afternoon, dear community families of HES Academies, and welcome to another family engagement broadcast. This is Mr. Sharafuddin speaking to you, Family Engagement Community Liaison at HES Academies, and with me is Mr. Ahmad Ballout from Access. Welcome, Ahmad.
Thank you for having me, Wissam.
Just a couple announcements. Juneteenth, Freedom Day. All HES Academies and Support Center will be closed on Monday, June 20, 2022. Juneteenth or Freedom Day is the oldest nationally celebrated commemoration of the ending of slavery in the United States. This holiday is considered the longest running African American holiday and has been called America's second Independence Day. It was on June 19, 1865, that Union soldiers led by Major General. Okay, I have it cut off, but anyways, on June 19 that took place, and we have Monday, June 20th, a Freedom Day, Juneteenth off day, and we are going to start the summer program on Tuesday, June 21st. Ahmad Ballout, with over 8 years of law enforcement experience, now working for Access Substance Use Program for 4 years in collaboration with Devon Police. Ahmad works with officers to locate and help individuals and families who suffered from drug addiction, mental health, and suicide. He provides awareness and health education programs for the youth and parents in the schools. He also provides naloxone training for individuals, families, businesses, and community members. Again, Ahmed, welcome to you and thank you for all you do and what Access does in the community. And today's presentation will be about stressing less, التخفيف من الإجهاد للمراهقين. Ahmed's presentation will be in English, but it will be accompanied with Arabic translation of the slides. So for those parents, you can stay tuned. Ahmed will be taking questions during the conversation and also at the end of it. Just type them in the comments section. I will also have a couple announcements for you before we end the program. Without further ado, I present to you Ahmad Ballout.
Thank you, Wissam. Thank you for everybody for taking time of your day being in our presentation. Wissam's always been a great partner to our coalition and our team, and always happy to be here. And with that, we're going to start talking about stress. Stress affects everybody, adults, children, teenagers, elderly. But specifically, we're going to talk about stress with the teenagers, our children. And one important thing is, as I go over this presentation, I get reminded of me as an adult, what I need to do. So it's highly recommended not only to apply this to your children, it's applied to ourselves so we can lead by an example. With that, we will start the presentation talking about what is stress. Stress is a response to life-changing events that requires a response or adjustment, things that come to us that we're not prepared for, that throws us off beyond the norm, beyond normal activities, and we have to adapt and change accordingly. Sometimes we might feel lost, overwhelmed, and unable to cope, whether it's mentally or emotional pressure. Some stresses, they come to us short term, uh, like a comment somebody might have made or a situation that you're put on that's short term, versus long term stress. Uh, for example, being in a stressful position for a long period of time, that could occur in a household environment. It could be at work, could be outside of work, could be happening anytime, or just a mental state where you're in, where you have to endure long-term stress that could be extremely exhausting. So there's two types of stresses: positive stress and negative stress. Positive stress could come in different forms. For example, a promotion, uh, pretty much anything that's positive where the end result could be a positive outcome. So a promotion, having a new baby, getting a proposal, somebody proposed to their significant other, engagement proposal or marriage. Uh, for some people, most people, I would say it's a positive outcome. For some people, that same positive outcome could be a negative one because there's so much pressure That's extremely overwhelming. So some positive stresses could turn out negative. And there's, of course, the negative stresses, being overwhelmed, a very tense situation, an argument, a long term argument, or a situation you get presented as whereas a negative outcome, a fight, uh, a demotion, a car accident, could be anything that life throws at us that the end result is negative, a death in the family, unfortunately, or a severe injury. Those could be related to as negative stresses. And again, this applies to everybody, adults and children's. In my field of work, where we deal with substance use, mental health, suicide, families or loved one are experiencing a long-term stress of negative situation where they have to constantly worry and stress out about that family member that's struggling with addiction. That can impact the family or the loved one that care about that person negatively. I deal with that on day-to-day basis. I see it all the time. So signs of stresses in teens. So if you're stressed, you might see some changes. There's three types. There's behavioral, there's emotional, and physical signs of stress we need to look out for. So behavioral stress, if your child is stressed out, you might see some changes in behavior. For example, not wanting to play. Sometimes we do family game nights, and one of my children decided not to participate for her favorite game. That's a sign of stress because she doesn't want to. She's enclosed to herself, and she's dealing with something herself or himself. Some of it could be refusing to go to school. There is a behavior in class that changed. Sometimes they decide to stay at home because they don't want to attend their class. Poor attendance, their grades go down, lower than usual. They seem nervous or anxious. As a parent, we're very in tune to see those changes with our children, and we have to pay attention to that something is stressing them out. Either sometimes kids, they might sleep too little. Most of the time, they sleep in a lot. We might misinterpret it as a growth spurt. Sometimes my daughter, she likes to sleep in a lot, a lot. If I let her sleep, she'll sleep in. She's about 10, 11 years old, and you can might misinterpret that into like a growth spurt, but we need to be mindful of that. That applies for adults too. Sometimes we sleep in less because our brains are overwhelmed and we're pretty much insomniac. We're not sleeping, or we sleep too much. Eating more comfort food, I'm guilty, than usual, or eat less for food overall. Some people they stress eat, this thing we call stress eating, or some people they don't eat at all. They just shut down and don't eat at all. That's a very good sign we can notice in our children. Drinking more caffeinated products so they can stay amped up and alert to deal with all the stresses. Taking over the counter painkillers using alcohol or other drugs, that comes into my field of work where I see a lot of the teenagers that we follow up with that are dealing with the stress or trauma. They resort to substance use, be it pain medication, over-the-counter medication, alcohol, marijuana. They think that will relaxes them. And a lot of studies we do when we do presentation in the schools about substance use, one of the highest answers we get, why do you use substances, or why do teens use substances? Because they're stressed out or they are overwhelmed. And there's the last one we see is behaving aggressively or defensively. They become more aggressive and more snappy, as they say, or they talk back, or they're very angry. Those are different behavioral signs we notice with the teens when they're dealing with stress.
Ahmed,
Now,
can you click hide on this little bar on your screen?
I'm sorry.
Can you click hide on the little bar on your
Oh,
screen?
the little one. Yeah,
Yeah, just
sure.
hide. Thank you.
Yep. So emotional signs. Uh, so we have moodiness, fear of missing out, and difficulty relaxing. So when they're moody, again, when we talked about on the previous line, behaving aggressively, that goes back, that leans into emotional also. So they're very irritable. Sometimes they cry too much, sad. They feel the feeling of hopelessness. Sometimes they're too happy, and sometimes they're not very happy. Their mood swings. They feel nothing is going right. Uh, we might overlook it and say, "Oh, it's only a phase. It's their hormones going out of control." That might be that they might be dealing with stress. They're not letting us know, so we need to be in tune with that. Fear of missing out. Worry about missing out on what peers are up to. Difficulty relaxing. Finding it hard to switch off their brain, especially watching social media, television, just trying to shut things down and just relax. They can't do that because they're so stressed out. Those are the emotional signs. Now, there's physical signs of stress. You can hear them complaining about headaches more than usual, aches and pains. Their stomachs is weird. They feel weird in their stomachs. My tummy feels weird, jaw pain, get frequent cold. They get more sick. That is a sign of stress that even adults deal with when they're extremely stressed out. Your body starts physically shut down, and that could occur in our teenage kids and our children. Loss or gain of weight. That goes again with the first one we talked about, stress eating or not eating at all. When you eat a lot, you gain weight. When you don't eat much, you lose weight. They're fatigued due to lack of sleepiness or just the mind is going 1,000 miles an hour. Have panic attacks, dizzy spells. That's again from stress and being overwhelmed. Fast breathing, and they feel pins and needles and numbness in their body parts. That could be not. That could definitely be a disease or a stress. Those are different type of stress we need to look out for. So, thinking signs of stress. So when they can't when they're stressing, they find it difficult hard to concentrate or stay focused on the task at hand. They cannot make good decisions or remember things. Their planning or organization is all over the place because they're so stressed out and overwhelmed. And they make bad decisions because they cannot pick or choose what is the right decisions for them. Those are what's caused by stress. Sometimes bad behavior, when we talk original in the first slide, or uh, not getting good grades because they're stressed and overwhelmed, so they cannot make those concerned enough to take that test and pass it due to stress. What causes stress in teenagers? So, uh, with my field of work, where we're dealing with families with substance use and mental health. There's trauma. Okay, trauma in the family's environment that could be caused by a loss of family member or uh, the struggles, the daily struggles they have to deal with. The teenage experience. The kids are growing. They're having more responsibilities. They're being exposed to more stuff around them, and they have to find out their identity, and that causes them a lot of stress. They want to know who they are, where they fit in, and that's exhausting. Easy. Can you imagine us as adults in a new environment trying to figure ourselves out? Could you imagine a teenage kid that has no say in anything and they try to figure out their place in this world? That could cause them a lot of stress growing up alone. School, of course, unfortunately, school it is nowadays not what it used to be. They're overexposed. There's a lot of stuff going on. Our environment has changed. Our social media has changed. I mean, the social media that's right now around us. Uh, Even back in the day, bullying's been around for a long time. Events in school, your parents are not there as a protective factor to be watching them all day long. They're onto their own element. Relationships. We talked about relationship with friends, peers, adults, family members. That could cause them a lot of stress and life-changing events. Could be anything. It could be from relocation, moving away from friends and family, having to make new friends, uh, a death in the family, COVID, it's impacted everybody, grown-ups and children. war, could be anything that could traumatize or cause stress in the family and on our teenagers. So again, as I go through this presentation, me as an adult, I have to remind myself and be mindful of stress. Stress is a normal thing. Stress is a normal part of human existence. And as adults and as children, we need to learn how to cope with it. Now, the earlier the child learns how to cope stress, and the longer as life goes on, they become more able to cope. And this will lead them to a more fulfilling and more uh, uh, complete lives so they can be able to manage the stress. So it's better to start with them early, teaching them coping mechanism, teaching them positive ways to deal with stress. And as they go older, they get better at it, so they can lead more fulfilling lives. We can't stop it. They need to know that stress is always going to come to us. Life has its ups and downs, but we can learn ways to manage it. So, how teens can cope with stress? Those are different techniques. And those techniques do not only apply to teens, those techniques are great for adults. Sleep well. That's the number one key. If you sleep enough, you sleep well, you get a restful night, you're going to be able to have energy to cope with everything that comes your way. You'll be able to make better decisions. Uh, your decision making is better. Your energy level is better. You'll be able to, when your energy is better, your energy level is better, you'll be able to have more energy to complete more tasks. So make sleep a priority. Time management is a really big one. And again, if your kids start to learn how to time manage their life at an earlier age, with all the energy that they have, they now become masters at it as they grow older. And the number one, limiting screen time, whether it be a television, whether it's their phones, their iPads, their social media, that's a really big one. Again, it goes back to the adults. When we're not doing anything, we're gonna automatically hit our phone, browse the social media, Facebook, Instagram, the news, watching shows. That that will takes you to an overexposure, especially our teenage boys and girls. Exposure to social media can stress them out because they have to see that different reality that's out there. Second one, exercise. Go outside, taking walks, sitting outside in nature. Well, I know we live in Michigan and we don't see that sky as we speak right now. I'm looking outside the window and it's actually raining. But open those windows up if you're home. Let the sunlight come into the house so they can see natural sunlight. I tell that to all my clients that I deal with that mental health or substance use. I highly encourage them to open the windows if they can't step outside. Let the natural light come into the house. It makes you feel better. Workout equipment at home or at school, or go to the gym so you can, change spots, not being cooped out at home. Exercise is a key factor for our teenage boys and girls. Any kind of sport, any type of team sport, individual sport, it gives them, first, gives them energy. Second, it gets them in shape, keeps them away from drugs, making bad decisions. It improves their social interaction, makes them friends, all that stuff. Any type of sport. It doesn't have to be a specific one. I highly recommend it to parents. Put your kids in sports. It's a very good stress management tool. Talk, write it out. Talking to somebody and not bottling things up. I tend to keep things to myself a lot and I don't talk about my daily struggles, especially when I used to be in law enforcement. There's things you see, you don't want to go and burden somebody else with it. But talking to your spouse, talking to your loved one, talking to your friend, it kind of, you release that. And for teenage boys and girls, that's the same thing. Help find solutions. When you talk it out, when you hear somebody, a third or second person come back to you, when you put it out there, it makes you better at seeing what's right and wrong in the situation. Reduce mental distress, and of course, to be grateful. How teens continued. How make time for fun. Again, that goes originally to managing time, having hobbies, watching funny videos, trying to laugh, spending time with friends, socializing. Make time for relaxation and mindfulness. Listen to music, read a book, find a balance. Meditation is not in there, which is a great tool to manage stress. Uh, Yoga, which is kind of an exercise meditation type for everybody, men and women, adult, children. Yoga is a great tool for relaxation and managing stress, because what you do, you separate yourself from social media, you clear your mind, and you're active at the same time. And knowing what stresses them, what triggers stress in different people, different situation. If you know what triggers you, what stresses you out, and if you're able to avoid it, that's another way to coping with stress. Learn what brings them stress, how to avoid it, or how to deal with it, and anticipate it. So once they anticipate a situation is going to be stressful to them, they'll be able to cope with it. Again, it kind of sounds like I'm talking to parents and children, but this goes hand in hand. So model healthy coping mechanisms. So if your parent is stressed out all the time, the kid is going to be stressed out all the time. Because if you lead by example and you teach them how they can see you how you cope with stressful situation, they're going to learn that from you. Just they can learn from you listening to you talk, watching you cook, watching you do chores around the house. They can learn from you how to cope with stress. So if you lead by example, they're going to definitely learn how to do that. Provide a good example to them, teach them how to cope with stress. Think through and share plans to reduce stress and communicate with them. We go back to originally where we're talking about talk it out and communicate. So if you talk to them about it and share your thoughts and share your experiences and let them know that you're human and you go through stress and stress is going to come our way, but we need to learn how to deal with it, encourage them to take steps forward. Communication is a very important key. Encourage healthy behaviors, nutrition, physical activity, rest, and teach them time management. So again, that goes back to leading by example. So if they watch you eat healthy, eventually, I know a lot of kids are stubborn and they have 2 or 3 things on the menu that they eat. But once the meal is right there on the table in front of them, eventually they're gonna be compelled to try it. So if they watch you eating healthy, they're gonna see that. If mom and dad are eating a salad every day or eating fruits and vegetables, they're gonna model that behavior. Physical activity. I myself am guilty. My daughters are like, Daddy, can we go on a bike ride? I'm I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I just want to sit down. But I have to make an effort and make it a task, make it a priority. Okay, today I'm going to take you guys on a bike ride. Let's go. Same thing. It's healthy for me and it's healthy for them. Try not to try to be active. And if they refuse, I mean, okay, well, you're bored. We can go on a bike ride. We can walk in the backyard. We can go on a walk. If I go to the gym, I try to take them with me if the gym allows it or the environment allows it. Teach them time management. Okay, so let's say I work 9 to 5 job. I get home, I'm tired. We have dinner. The weather's nice outside. Okay, we have a plan. We have 1 hour of something that we have to do, whatever it is. Time manage the whole household and be on board. And I guarantee the kids, if they started younger, it's gonna be a normal part of their lifestyle. Build positive coping mechanism. So again, if they see the parents stressed out, they're gonna stress out. So as we teach ourselves as adults how to cope, they're gonna learn that from us. Teach them the idea, teach them how to cope with the different situation. Promote media literacy, limiting screen time. Uh, the earlier you start with that, the easier for you to do it. Uh, that's my best advice. I mean, if your kid's already been using for so long, try to different techniques. You're the parent, you know how to connect your kids. Try different alternatives so they can get off their phones and try to be there in the moment. I did a funny experience on Christmas when we had people coming over. I stood by the door just trying to be funny and put my basket out there. So everybody comes to the house, adult and child, have to put their phone in a basket. What was a joke turned out real, and everybody was compelled to put their phone on vibrate, put it in the basket because everybody's here, so you don't have to worry who's not and who's not. And I took it away from them for maybe a couple of hours, and we had the best fun. Just start picking on each other, conversing. But as soon as the phones came back on, I have a picture where everybody, adult and children, sitting on their phone, with everybody in the same room. So those different experience, you can figure out your own lifestyle, your own mojo in your family environment. Try different ways so you can disconnect from the media and be in the moment. It takes a lot of stress out. They don't want to be looking on Facebook, somebody died at this place and time, or you're celebrating New Year's or Christmas or a birthday. As long as they're attached to that phone, bad news are always coming in. Encourage rational thinking and have them question. Okay, not everything out there is real. Do the research, get to the bottom of it. Teach them about consequences. Uh, this is a good one. This is a really big one. For every action, there's a reaction. Good behavior, hard work, promote positive results. No matter how hard you work, you're gonna find. So, and it avoids stressful situation if you're prepared for it. Respect their autonomy. Allow room for healthy decision making and coping skills to develop. You can see a picture of a person playing basketball, a kid playing basketball. Uh, when they do sports, they learn how to make decisions for themselves. They're out there in the field, whether basketball, any type of sport. They learn how to do. They're under stress, positive stress, win or lose. It's for fun, but that's how they learn how to cope with it during a different because they're in competition, and that's a healthy type of stress, and it teaches them the basis of how to deal with stress in life. So let them make small mistakes and let them learn how to correct them themselves. Don't be always there to take care. Let them experience things. If it's safe and they're able to do it, let them fail and learn from their mistakes. Okay, don't do everything for them so they can learn how to cope with the stress. uh, Give them the choice, give them a voice in your family so they can have a voice and make a decision. This can be choices within your family, expectations. Letting teens solve their low stakes problems on their own helps them gain confidence and handle stressors. Again, the sooner they start how to problem solve, the better they get at it as they grow older. These are apps you can get on and go with it with your child. It says My Life, a variety of sessions for sleep, focus, anxiety, stress, and more that vary in length. Oak, that's another app, guided and unguided meditation, as well as sleep sounds and breathing exercises, daily meditation reminder. This is a really good one. Any type of meditation is great for adults and children again. And I know we all lead busy lives, but if we make a priority, one priority a day to do something for ourselves, we'll be able to handle stress and be better parents. I highly recommend it for adults to take time for ourselves, even half an hour or an hour. And that means away from social media. Shine self care and meditation. Daily positive text messages, lots of topic, including 5-minute meditation and affirmation. And Happify, activities and games to help reduce stress, overcome negative thoughts, and build greater resilience to improve emotional well being. If you have a pen and a paper, write those apps down and check them out. And I'm pretty sure there's a million other different apps that are out there that are very beneficial to manage stress and learn from it. These are some of the resources. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you, Hala, for doing that great PowerPoint. and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Ahmad and Access, for this beautiful presentation once again. And with that, we come to actually the end of the year 2021 2022 with a great series of talks by Access that was given during this year. Hala is not with us, but we would like to thank her on behalf of our community through you, Ahmed, and thank Access and ASAP Coalition for all the efforts that are being made. Have you seen? I have some questions for you, Ahmed, from
Yes, sir.
your experience working with the community. What is some of the things that you see that teenagers in general, for example, are facing these days? Some of the cases that come to you. What are some of the tips and areas that you would like to bring the attention of the parents to pay attention for?
So, unfortunately, a lot of reports I do receive as far as substance use, it's really mental health or a trauma in the family, trauma that happened to them or abuse. Those are the severe cases that I do get. Some of the minor ones that I deal with when kids try to use substances as a way to relax and deal with stress, which is the milder, which is over the counter medication, like the presentation said, or marijuana or vaping. Vaping is a really big one. We're dealing with a lot of students, unfortunately, and they use that to cope with stress. But the thing that a lot of teenagers that don't know is it raises their heart rate and causes them to stress even more. And they get stuck with a nicotine addiction, or a nicotine addiction to leads to long-term negative addiction, will lead to mental health issues, and so on and so forth. My best advice to parents, from I'm a parent myself, is positive environment, lead by example. Number one, if you need to lead by an example. So if is a relaxing, active, positive household for the kids, they're gonna learn how to cope. Okay, that's number one. Number two is sport, athletics, any type, whether it's dance, whether it's cheerleading, badminton, ping pong, soccer, football, any type of sport. If you get them into anything that they like, number one, it's healthy. Number two, it teaches them how to deal with stress. Uh, there's no bad sport. Okay, you choose your own, what your kid like. Of course, I personally, I put my kids in any sports as long as they like it, as long as they stay active. Playing in the backyard, walks, just detach from social media. Do the best you can to limit their screen time. That's another key. Uh, Again, it's harder for adults. I can only imagine how hard it is for the kids. I'm guilty, one of them. So
Mhm.
nobody's perfect, but all we could do is learn. I tell you, as I go through this presentation PowerPoint, I learn things for myself. So I highly recommend it. If you want to go back to this presentation and read on it, the more you read, the more you catch yourself. Remind ourselves as parents that we'll lead by example.
Thank you, Ahmed. I'd like to make a few announcements. First of all, for the student government, as seniors graduate, those who are president of the student government, if they were seniors, they leave their position vacant, and whoever is in succession after them takes over the position as the interim president till the next elections. For these schools, I'd like to announce these interim presidents for Universal Learning Academy student government. The president now is Zainab El Waili till the elections of November 4, 2022. Congratulations, Zainab. And Adam Samhat, president of SIA student government until the elections of November 4th, 2022. Congratulations, Adam. And Amani Al Hashidi, she's the president of Universal Academy student government up to the elections of November 4th, 2022. Congratulations, Amani. Another announcement is that the golf outing taking place next Saturday, not this Saturday, but Saturday after. Actually, we want to thank the community for the overwhelming response. We had 18 sponsorship open. We got 25 sponsorships, so thank you for that. And we have actually a few spots for golfing still open. I think very few, maybe five or four. So if you're interested in spending a day of golfing, supporting the athletic departments of SIA, UA, and ULA, and enjoying breakfast, lunch, contests, prizes, raffles, swag bags, and more, feel free to go to this website, bit.ly/SIA Golf Outing 2022 to get your golfing tickets. I think there is a discount for twos and for fours. If four of you go, I think you get it for even more discounted rate. I want to share also, Ahmad, with you and with our audience. The student governments have they try to maintain a relationship with student governments of universities. So we've paid visits to University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, and Dearborn, and other schools. In Universal Learning Academy, student government visiting UFM Ann Arbor, one of our students wanted to show their talent to other students. I'm going to share it with you here. As one of the students sharing some of their talent, and the student in the School of Music at the University of Michigan Ann Arbor. We did a tour to the College of Music, Dance, and Theater to share with our students and the leaders in the school on the importance of music, dance, and theater in relaying messages to the community and to deliver uh, the messages that you need to deliver to society. These are the artistic ways of expression that delivers the message in the best way. One more thing is actually by access also for all the students joining fall sports in the fall. There are physicals that are required before tryouts. Tryouts will be in August 8th, so way before the school starts. The camps and tryouts and training will start. So you need to pay attention to that and apply at your school for the next team that you want to join. And then you submit your physicals. Actually, Access is doing walk ins for us on the following days. I'm going to put the flyer for you. It's also available on our social media. Here it is. Yeah, so these dates, July 7, 9, and 16, 60, are the dates that you can go to the Access on Schaefer and Dearborn to do your physicals walk-ins. Otherwise, you can just give them a call and you can actually reserve an appointment at your convenience at any time. Here's the number on the screen. It's 313-216-2230. If you don't have time to walk in on July 7, 19, and 26, these 3 days, you don't need an appointment. You just walk in anytime between 8 and 5 p.m. One last announcement is that chess club will be open during the summer, so you can join chess club and play chess. There will be online tournaments, and then when the school starts, hopefully we'll have chess in person in the schools. Here's a little flyer about how to join the chess club. I just posted the link to join the chess club in the comments section. With that, I want to thank Ahmad again, Access, and all of you for watching this. And we'll see you. This concludes our family engagement broadcast for this academic year officially. We will have few broadcasts during the summer just to give you some more information about the beginning of the school year. We also might have some informative and educational sessions here and there. But officially, this concludes our 2021-2022 family engagement broadcasts. No better way of ending it except with Ahmad Ballout from
Thank you,
Access.
Islam. I want to say Alf Mabruk for all the graduate, all the students. Congratulations on a very successful year. And I wish everybody a beautiful, safe summer. Go out there, be stress free, enjoy the sunlight, enjoy the water, just be safe.
Thank you, Ahmad, and we wish everyone a great weekend. Last day of school will be June 17. Just making sure.
Next week.
June 17, next Friday is the last day of school. So it will be a half a day. Enjoy your weekend and your last week of school.
Thank you, Islam.
HES Academies have been serving the Detroit metro area for over 23 years, promoting academic excellence, leadership, and cultural diversity, ranking as some of the top schools in the state of Michigan. Our pre-K through 12th grade students enjoy tuition-free, state-accredited education by STEM certified and highly qualified staff with no geographical restrictions, and with advanced placement, college dual enrollment, scholarship, and Arabic language programs. Noor International Academy in Sterling Heights at niapsa.org, Star International Academy in Dearborn Heights and in Canton at starpsa.org, Universal Academy in Detroit at universalpsa.org, and Universal Learning Academy in Westland at ulapsa.org. Join HES Academies today and enjoy a free Chromebook for every enrolled student.